Three, two, one. You're listening to the Soju Sessions, episode 64 on the SojuTalk Nation podcast feed. I'm your host, Crispy, also known as Crispy Wonton or simply just Anton. And on today's episode, the one and only flacolui joins the show, a brand new member of the Gochu Gang, patrons on the SojuTalk K-pop podcast Discord server, a brand new member of the SojuTalk Nation. He's got an incredible story, so much life and energy and brightness into all of his experiences with K-pop. He is in the military, so thank you for your service, sir. But he is kind enough to join and discuss his origins. We get pretty hyped. That's kind of what I'll lead in with, and kind of his love for the way that Doug, Warren, and Anita have discussed K-pop is definitely present there as well, with everything that he's experienced with the main show, with Soju Talk. So yeah, we also get into LIGHTSUM. We do an album discussion, so a little review of what we loved about it. I'm a big fan. LIGHTSUM, you got me. I'm a big fan. All right, let's get into it. My chat with flacolui on LIGHTSUM on the Soju Sessions. Joining Soju Sessions, a brand new member of the SojuTalk Nation community. He is a brand new Gochu Gang member. He's supporting the show. All full transparency, we have been talking for like 20 minutes, and he is just incredibly interesting. The one and only Louis, or flacolui. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No, all right. The full disclosure, flacolui is enjoying soju, which is incredibly fitting.
Yes, I am.
For the show. For those on YouTube who can see kind of the brightness of my face right now, I'm just incredibly excited to get to know even more about Louis' story and origin story. What name do you go by? Is it flacolui or Louis?
Flacolui. It's really like whatever people is easier to pronounce, because my name is Luis, so I just took the S off, and usually people call me Flaco or Louis or just the whole entire thing, but it's whatever you're comfortable with.
We're gonna go Flaco because I think that's easier to find also, because people are looking for the F. All right, we're gonna go Flaco. Flaco, just a quick background. Right now he is in Oklahoma, but he's stationed there because he is military. And he's got a journey, so we're gonna get right into it. So Flaco, this is what I asked all the new people that come onto the show. What is your K-pop origin story? What are your first memories? What are the first songs you remember? And feel free to talk about where you were last year and the reason why I believe K-pop is a big part of your life.
All right. Well, to explain, my first experiences with K-pop was in high school. My friends were super into K-pop, and I was into like all types of music, and they actually showed me BTS's Dope and Twice's Signal, and I automatically fell in love with Twice, and then I kind of fell in love with BTS at the same time because I was an amateur dancer as well. I was like doing competitions, and I was really interested in the way that BTS were dancing and all that. And that's how I kind of got into it, but I never really explored after that. And then it wasn't until, since like he mentioned, I am military, and I was stationed in Pyeongtaek, South Korea, and I was there for 1 whole year. And then it started when my little cousins, actually, my family members, they're like 12 or 13, and they're super into BTS. And they asked me to buy them an album, and I'm like, oh, sure, I'll buy you an album. And then they like said, you should buy yourself one too. And I'm like, oh, the only group I really know is Twice. And they're like, just buy yourself something. And then that was the rabbit hole. that made me really fall into it. That first album really got me into it. And then I just obsessively started like listening to it, and I started listening to entire discographies of people, and then it just, yeah, it got a lot of part of my life.
That is incredible. So take me through it. So you're military. You were stationed in South Korea for a year. What year was that, and how was that experience like going through your duties in service, but then also having kind of the free time to explore Korea here and there?
It was great. Even it was probably one of like the best things I've ever done, because it wasn't my first ever year in service, because I served in Korea from 2021 to 2022. I got there, I think it was December of 2020, so basically June 21 of January. And then, but before that, I was in Germany. I was in Europe for 2 years, actually. And I had the option to either go back home or go to South Korea. But before that, I'd never really had interest in going to South Korea until he said it out loud. And then I was super excited. I'm like, I've never been there. Might as well. And then I went, and it was probably one of the best like decisions I've ever made in my life. I have made so many friends. The food was amazing. I love talking to people, and the fact like me being myself as an American soldier out there. And I also try to get super into the language. So I'm currently trying to learn Korean. I don't really know if I'm any good. I know like the simple phrases and stuff. And Koreans are just super friendly when it comes to that type of stuff. And it was great. Like I made a lot of friends, a lot of good memories, and it was probably one of the best times of my life. I kind of want to go back.
So take me through it. So you're a soldier, you're an active duty service member from the United States in Korea. How is the response of the Korean locals? Just knowing that you are there for service. You said it's very warm and friendly, but just take me through kind of the experience of them bringing you in and feeling like home, feeling like family with essentially in a foreign country that's kind of very different than United States.
Well, with if I'm comparing the Koreans to the Germans that I was with, the Germans definitely were more unfriendly, but the Koreans were kind of split in half, kind of, because there were some Koreans that didn't really support the troops, but I saw more or less more Koreans, especially like the younger ones, more of like my age, because I'm 22, so the Koreans my age are more accepting, but there are some like older Koreans that like wave around the flag. I think I had this one time I went out with some, and I just like met these random Koreans, and he like asked me to call them like hyung and stuff and show him like respect and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. You know, just be respectful. He's older than me. But then I showed him that I was a soldier, and he started like putting like food on my plate, and he started treating me with like a lot more respect, because and he couldn't speak very well sorry, he couldn't speak very good English. So he Google translated his sentence, and it was around the lines of thank you for serving the country. If it wasn't for you guys coming here, South Korea wouldn't be what it is today. And I just met a lot of older Koreans that agree with that statement a lot more than I do not agreeing. So, and that's with the older people too. Yeah, but the younger people are a lot more accepting, you know. With this new generation comes a new like era of thought when it comes to military. But yeah, that was like my experience with people.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible kind of blending of cultures, right? It's a cultural exchange in a lot of ways where they recognize you as American, 100% United States, but then there's also the element of what the military represents in Korea, right? And there is a natural tension, but I think the way that you're kind of experiencing it, navigating and ingesting all of that kind of is enriching. I think the way that you can describe your perspective, it's not in any forceful way, I would say. I think it's just more in an openness to kind of seeing the perspectives of why certain people would respond in a certain way. And I feel like you still have gotten so much out of it to the point where you have this admiration for Korea, which
Oh yeah,
definitely can hear it in your voice, just how excited you are about the culture, the people, and the country. So,
Oh yeah.
100%. So let's get into K-pop. Twice. We're just gonna go into Twice. Sorry, BTS. You've had your time. You're doing so many things. You guys, BTS has, as of today, went to see Mr. President Biden at the White House.
Yeah, I definitely saw that.
Yeah. They visited. They're doing some things. Well, quickly, what is your perspective on that, and how do you feel that went?
I feel that BTS is great. They're definitely super influential, especially in like with the people, like all their fans and stuff. But I definitely feel like President Biden should have gotten someone who was more into the like American scene, because I like of course they're Asians, but the fact that if it's they came to discuss Asian like hate, I feel like getting more Asian Americans that are more super into it and like can get more into detail with it would have been more progressive. I mean, BTS wasn't a bad choice, but I feel like it could have been better with someone who would be more like politically involved.
That's a good point. I think for the visibility of the message, BTS is a great choice,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
so many eyes on today, people who don't like politics, people don't like K-pop, right? They're just curious. But I think if your specific goal, the objective is that you want someone who represents the perspective of what is happening to Asian Americans, then I think there could have been more done, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the first person that always comes to mind is Sandra Oh, and she is not even American; she's Canadian, but she always speaks about her time being in Los Angeles and what that meant for her, kind of in her adult life, going through kind of the balance of being an Asian American, North American, Canadian, right? So I think there is a little bit of wiggle room, but ultimately it's a net positive because again, it's gotten everyone talking, and hopefully that
Yeah.
brings visibility to that topic, that concern, kind of moving forward, right? But let's talk about Twice. Okay, so Signal. I love Signal. I know that sometimes that song itself is not one of the most favored songs of Twice's discography. What was the Twice album that you bought in Korea? And then kind of take me through the Twice journey, the Twice rabbit hole as you're descending into all of the lovely madness.
Yes. Well, the first one I bought was, since I didn't know much about K-pop at all, I thought it was an album, but it was actually their. I'm not sure if it was either. I think it was their Twice World in a Day. It was a photo like book, and it was literally just pictures and pictures of just like headshots of all the members. And then it came with this Twice World in a Day poster, and then it came with some photo cards. And I'm like, wow, this is nice. I wonder, what the other ones have. And then I found out what like the actual albums are. And then with the Signal era and all the other eras before that I got into first, I fell in love with Jung Yun. Like short hair Jung Yun was just amazing to me. And then but around the time I got into Twice, she was on hiatus. So I didn't really get to see much more of her. But now I'm all about collecting Momo, like Momo photo cards and stuff. Because she's also amazing. I mean, they're all amazing in their own right. But yeah. And it all started with that Twice. And then I just kept on listening to that. And then from there, I just kept on getting recommendations. And then I also got into like Dreamcatcher, Stacy. I got into all like the little people like with listening to LIGHTSUM's albums. I also got into Cherry Bullet somehow. And Cherry Bullet is also great. You should check them out if you don't know who they are, but they're also amazing. But I just kept on like going down one like tree and I kept on falling into other branches and that's how I ended up. And then yeah.
You absolutely went down the K-pop rabbit hole of
Oh
girl
yeah,
groups, and honestly, that story brings so much joy into my heart because I mean it's one of those remarkable things about K-pop. Yes, there are so many groups, and oftentimes they're put into competition with each other, right? I mean, music shows are inherently a competition, right? The charts are inherently a competition, but when you kind of step back and zoom out and really see the plethora of things to enjoy, you just kind of let the moment sink in and
Mhm.
listen to everything. And I feel like that is exactly what you did, because you named a variety of groups that don't necessarily have anything specifically similar other than they are currently active, right? I think that's pretty cool that all those sounds are pretty different and you have a love for all of them in so many different ways.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about Alexa. So you are in Oklahoma, stationed right now. What's the temperature like in Oklahoma about people talking about the winner of the American Song Contest?
Yeah,
I think that's the name of the show. I
it
apologize.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was 100% caught up, and I voted for Alexa about 100 times probably. But
you're the reason
but
she won. It was all
yeah,
you, man. Hard
maybe
carry.
no. But yeah, I was all caught up on that. I follow Alexa on all her social platforms. But with my friends, there's not many people in Oklahoma who I talk to K-pop about. There's more people that I get into K-pop over here, because there's a lot of people who tell me I don't like K-pop, this that, because it's all this and that, right? And then like I show them a Stray Kids song, and then they get super into it. And then yeah, but other than that, the temperature, like you asked about Alexa, is very, how can I say, like here and there. If you find someone that is into K-pop here in Oklahoma, they're gonna talk about it. They're excited to talk about it. But if you don't, yeah, they definitely know nothing about Alexa. If anything, they'll know about BTS. That's it. BTS or any like super big like IU, uh, big old like the big names they'll know about. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. It could just be the case where that show may have hit a different demographic than what we're surrounded by, right?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I think that show is still tailored for kind of older American audiences who sit and watch TV at night, and that is not something I do ever on television, right? I'll watch things on my computer as completely different than broadcast television.
Mhm.
But I think, I'm really curious to see what happens if the demographic of Americans who watch broadcast television will catch on and kind of point out that Alexa represents them, at least represents their viewing, because she's part of a lot of household names with Snoop Dogg and Kelly Clarkson being the host of those. Ultimately, I think it's great for her. I think ZB
Oh yeah.
labels. That's a great pull. She is part of Dive Studios podcast series, podcast network. I think they're going to be doing shows in the near future. So she is back in Korea, so she'll be on there. Um, she's a very fun personality. I think I didn't love her music at first, but I got to know her as an artist, as a person, and I think that's what made it far more accessible to me. So yeah, I think little moments of exposure and kind of the changing tone of how you perceive someone does a lot to really just enjoy what they're
Hmm.
doing creatively, right? Speaking of podcasts, you found a Soju Talk podcast recently. Um, how'd you find it? What were the first episodes? And just take me through that beginning process of jumping into Doug, Warren, and Anita's weekly conversation.
So I'm actually not a huge podcast listener. I actually thought like a while ago, because my friends were trying to get me into podcasts, like Joe Rogan's podcast and everything. And I could get into it only if I was like super interested in it. And then I was just on a long car drive, and my buddy was saying, "Hey, listen to a podcast. You'll probably get a lot of episodes in. You got a long drive." I was on a 10-hour drive there, and then I had to come back. So I did have a lot of time on my hands. And then I was like, you know what? Let's do whatever, right? So I just got on my phone and I literally typed in K-pop podcast. And I think it was like the second option that popped up. And I liked it because it was Soju Talk. And I actually have two Soju tattoos on my body. And I really like Soju. So, and I was like, might as well give them a listen. And then I was looking through episodes, and then I saw their Stacy episode for Run to You, and it's definitely Run to You was like definitely top 2 Stacy songs. And yeah, and then I listened to that entire thing, and I was super interested in the entire moment. And I just kept on listening to more and more of the podcast. And like I said earlier, I was binging at this point. At every moment, I was listening to and then I listened to their podcast today as soon as I woke up, almost. And yeah, I listened to that podcast about LIGHTSUM, and
Stacy, Run to You being the first podcast you heard from the crew. Amazing.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
One, because Stacy is a top tier group of mine, if not like my favorite group right now. I adore them so much. Run to You, probably my favorite song of the year. It's just so meaningful. I don't buy albums anymore, but I bought the Stacy album. It's like, gosh. No, that's amazing. What was it about the relationship between Doug Warren and Anita that stood out to you as far as that type of conversation about K-pop?
I'd like to say that the fact that they all had super different opinions that I either disagreed or agreed with, and the fact that I could find myself, or I can throw myself into the conversation, is just crazy to me, because I think like usually like Joe Rogan's podcast, I don't know if you ever listened to it, but it's a lot like agreeing with him, or just like with the question, or agreeing with the whoever the guest is. But they actually have super varying opinions, and it's great. I think it's amazing. Like today with their World Cup thing, a lot of them disagreed with each other, and they actually had super different opinions. It wasn't like I don't think any of the winners were like blowouts. And I really appreciated that, because I mean, I'm a Twice fanboy, so I really wanted Twice and Stacy to go all the way. But that didn't happen, and it was good though. It made me sad, but it was good that they kept me hooked, and I liked hearing their reasoning why. I enjoyed it.
There's a great tension between the fact that they all disagree with each other, right? And also just knowing that they've been friends for a long time, since college. I don't remember when that was anymore. I think it was like 5 years ago now. Yeah, they've known each other for a long time. They've gone through their formative years, and I think that is like the foundation for why they're able to kind of push each other in different directions. And I think it's just a natural fit for kind of the audience. It's really easy to listen to. It doesn't feel like it's just arguing for arguing's sake. It's just very clear that they see things differently, but then all kind of come to the agreement that this is supposed to be fun, supposed to be something you do with your friends, and it definitely comes across. How'd you find the Discord? And then what motivated you? What inspired you to be a patron, a Gochu Gang member?
I mean, what helped me find the Discord was like the mid breaks. The mid breaks, they sponsored the Discord. In the beginning, they sponsored Discord. I think at the end, they also sponsored Discord. So they sponsored it 3 times, and I'm not too active on Discord, but I'm active enough to notice it. And I said, okay, let's see what this is about, because I know how a good server like looks, and like I know what a bad server looks like, and this is anything but that. It was a really great server. Everyone was super nice. As soon as I came in, I got welcomed. It was great. And I think that had a part in me being a Gochu Gang member. But with me, I guess, being a patron, I guess I'm not sure. I guess it's just me really enjoying the content, and it's like a first that they got me into it. They got me into like listening to their podcasts. Like I binged all their stuff, and I was just thinking, like, why not? You know, why not? Help something that I enjoy.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, it's one of those where you feel like you're brought into the conversation. You feel like you know Doug Warren and Anita, and for me at least, I felt like I just had to support them because we just felt so friendly, and they are pretty visible on the server. I mean, you see their names pop up here and there. Warren will say something in SojuTalk once in a while and really get people going. Doug specifically will drop like a nugget of like spice, and it's just like, he's here and he's gone, everyone, which is amazing. Anita lurks. She admits she lurks all the time, so she knows exactly what everyone is saying. That is all you need to know, everyone. So yeah, it does feel like they're very present. And that is why I supported them. All good stuff. All right, so we've got some music this week. Got some SojuTalk music. You mentioned them at the beginning. We're gonna cover LIGHTSUM with their most recent comeback, Alive, from the EP Into the Light. I will be completely honest here. I was not a big fan of LIGHTSUM, the first two releases. I thought they were pretty accessible as far as, not terrible songs, just pretty okay to listen to, but nothing stood out to me as far as getting to know the group as their character. They mentioned it on the show. I agree. I feel like this comeback shows the character of who LIGHTSUM are the best out of the three releases so far. Flaco, what did you feel about the release of LIGHTSUM's Alive, and kind of take me through your thoughts and feelings about LIGHTSUM as a whole?
With my opinion of LIGHTSUM's Alive was I kind of agree with what they said on the podcast completely. They said that this type of this concept was perfect for them. And since I said earlier that I listened to the entire discography, they were completely right. This concept was perfect for them. They killed it. They almost got me hooked with Alive as much as Signal did with Twice. Like I feel like if I look at this music video, I want to stand one of us, bias one of them and just collect their photo cards. I just feel like they're gonna, as soon as after this song, they're gonna just make bangers. I feel like after this is just gonna be a couple bops. I feel they're not gonna mess up for a while.
It does feel like they kind of found a direction now, right?
Yep.
Where we can kind of quickly go over it. So they talked about on the main show the first two releases, Vanilla and Vivici. I cannot pronounce that word. The other V one, two completely different concepts, completely different musical directions. Again, not terrible songs. I would say they're going back to them recently. I was like, yeah, they're not bad songs. I can listen to them. But they didn't tell me anything about who they are, and I wasn't able to kind of focus on the members. And for a rookie group, that is the most important thing, is you want to get to know the group and why you should follow them. Alive. Let's get into kind of the details of the concept. It's a high teen music video. So they are in school doing the high teen concept, but the music is teen crush. It's very energetic. It's got a great bounce to it. I would say it's bubblegum trap. Is kind of how I describe it. And well, music video first. I love the way that it opens with kind of an opening credits with the names of all the members, right? So it really kind of gives you that reintroduction of what LIGHTSUM are, or who LIGHTSUM are, right? And then it kind of plays out kind of like a teen movie, a teen drama show movie. And I think from there, it did a really nice job of giving each member highlighting points, different environments within the school, but then bringing them together in a lot of familiar settings. What did you think about the music video, and how did that pair with the song for you?
Wow. I felt like the music video was great. I thought the music video was great, and then the song in itself was great. I'm more of a super build up, and then it was like a really good drop. I'm more of like that type of K-pop listener, and it wasn't too much of a drop, but it was like enough to get me to turn the volume up in my car all the way. And I feel like that is my criteria when it comes to finding a good K-pop song. If it makes me think about putting it on replay, and it gets me putting on max volume, or maybe it gets me to think, I want to see that music video again, it's a great song. And this song is one of those songs. It gets me bopping. It really does.
Amazing. Well said. I totally agree. K-pop is inherently that, right? It's this genre of amazing flourishes, a lot of bombastic feeling to it, whether that's musically or visually or concept wise. And I feel like for LIGHTSUM here, they fit this concept perfectly well. Not only did the music pair really well with the visual concept, but the character. I feel like I finally know them. Like I finally want to know them. Well, I'll ask you. So you said you don't have a bias yet, but if you had to choose one, who would it be and why?
Let me do a quick Google search really fast.
No worries.
Because I haven't memorized their names yet.
If you can describe it by hair color, I can probably help you out. I've taken the burden of learning them with faces. Yeah, so difficult. I know. Just looking at girls, pretty girls, and trying to memorize names. Oh, how difficult, the struggle.
It even took me a while to memorize like Twice's names.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we kind of go into what the crew is talking about. So with Doug, again, really cool that he kind of pointed out kind of the direction that they're going in creatively. I thought Warren did a nice job talking about concepts and, you know, trying different concepts at every comeback. Understandable that you're kind of market testing for your group, but a lot of the times the audience is not connecting with the music anymore, right? Or the members. So I think that finding their niche, finding their character is incredibly important here. With what Anita was saying, I love the fact that she went into the styling, kind of the details of the high teen styling. In the music video, they actually have a variety of different costumes. The one that stood out was the suit, the open suit in a lot of different spots. It's just like that's super creative. That's like very like powerful, aggressive, you know, high school kids, but then still doing really cool things. And Anita did an excellent job breaking down the dance. Like always the dance master. So
yeah,
she's got a nice sense of how the choreography is put together, how it's able to focus on the members. And this is a pretty large group. It's 8 members. So me going back into the stages per Anita's recommendation was really helpful to now kind of see the details of which members were highlighted. Did you land on a bias?
I think it's gonna be Sangha.
Yes. Wow. Well, surprise, surprise. That is my bias as well. Let's talk about it. So they brought it up on the show. The kind of the aggressive qualities, kind of the cool, what was it, like angry qualities? I forget what it is exactly, but she stood out the most. What were the things that the crew said that stood out to you as far as Sangha kind of being the focal point in a lot of the choreography?
It would just be, I think maybe has some roots into me being a Momo bias too, because she's also the lead dancer for Twice. And she just gave me those vibes that, you know, she knows to do. Same thing with Chaeryeong. Like, Chaeryeong from ITZY, she stands out when it comes to dancing. And just the fact that I was watching the music video and I was like, wait a second, who is she? It made me, if I have like another thought of just, this is a good song, I feel like this person would stand out. And now she's going to have some photo cards.
So I understand your type now. You are a main dancer, focused person. I too have had my main dancer favorites here and there. You and I will talk, sir. No problem.
Right.
Do that later. Sangha definitely stood out to me. I don't really know what else to say. I'm at a loss for words. The other member that I did particularly like was Nayoung. She gets the kind of the opening section for the song. Color your hair and you will stand out, because that pink, whether it was tied up or it was down in curls. Is that it's like curly, right? So yeah, kind of wild. It's just a standout. And then her vocals definitely were the carry for the song. Nayoung and Juyeon had a lot of vocals throughout the song, and I feel like LIGHTSUM, they have a level to go as far as being a group, because now we're seeing the concept come together. We're seeing the dancing and the performance definitely feels like it's concrete. There's some vocal quality where I feel like give them a little push and they can kind of be considered in a different tier now if kind of the vocals are able to be accentuated, right? So
Yeah.
going in a really great direction.
It is.
Any final thoughts you have on LIGHTSUM's Alive?
On the live, no, actually, I don't know if you mind, but if I add something about their like sidetracks on that same album,
Yeah,
I thought they were really good too. Like,
yeah, let's jump into it. So we're gonna do a little mini album discussion. So we've got Into the Light. The first song is Alive, and then we've got 5 songs total. You're excited to get into it. I will hand it off to you. Flaco, what is your favorite song on this album? And why? Why do you love it?
my favorite song would probably be "I," because "I" is just one of those songs. Because one thing that I wish they got into in more detail of in the podcast, I don't know if it's like based off time or something, but is I wish they got more into the sidetracks. Cause like same thing when they went over Run to You, I wish they went over the sidetracks. Like that was also not because there were good ones like 24/7 banger, and I feel like I feel like I on the LIGHTSUM album should have gotten as much attention as Alive did. I think I was really good. It's actually on my. I think I and Alive are the ones on my playlist right now. But I was just also about the way they did the music differently was great, and the way that they sang was just super different than from their title track. And I thought that was really cool, and I feel like it should get more attention.
Yeah, let's talk about kind of the genre shift there. So with Alive, you get a girl crush, teen crush, kind of noise music, mainstream song, very accessible to wide audiences. With track 2 with I, this is a house song, everyone. This is runway house. They're flipping the genre. Interesting choice, transitioning from track 1 to 2, but I think it does a nice job to refresh the palette a little bit. For me, I like to see the construction of a mini album, right? Or an album. How do songs flow in and out of each other? What is the sonic narrative that you are experiencing? For me, I love the switch up in genre. I am a sucker for all things house, all things deep house. And again, I feel like this song is a really great example of they have a level to go vocally. Like it's there. Like I can hear it, I can sense it. So I just really hope that they can continue on kind of building off of these different elements of music. Because now it feels like they have the songs to match what they're capable of. Now let's get something a little extra with the members individually. Yeah. My favorite part was kind of the mini trap like flip in the song. It's very subtle. It's very short, but it's a nice way to break up the song because it's all like it's very runway house. But then the trap section for me is a very nice sonic thread for the entire album because there's a lot of trap inspiration for the entire album. I kind of love it. How it's subtly in there for all the songs. Let's move on to track number 3. It's called Good News. Title is Good News. Again, I really love the vocals here. It's very playful in the chorus. This song is an R&B trap song, very puppy love, and I am a sucker for Ariana Grande puppy love, high school love music, and that's what this is. Man, what did you think about Good News?
I'm actually like going through the Spotify and I realized I liked every single song in that album on Spotify. I realized that, but Good News was also great. What you said, I actually did think about Ariana Grande when I listened to that song as well. Actually, it was just that type of vibe, and plus, like Ariana Grande was like my childhood crush, so like I definitely picked it up, and it was just a good song. All of these songs are good, especially "Bye Bye Love" was a good outro, especially when you're talking about like going into the songs going into each other. "Bye Bye Love" was a great outro. It's just all the songs. I feel like me listening to the entire discography, even their singles, even what was it, Go Go Bella? They did an intro for like some kid show, I'm assuming. That was good. That showed off their vocal prowess as well. And I feel like Lightsum has such good potential when it comes to their vocal output.
Yeah, I hope this is a starting point for a lot of fans to go back into their music. Because again, I will just repeat, I was not the biggest fan initially, but it's made me very motivated to give them a second chance. Because if there are elements of what I'm hearing here in a lot of those songs, that is good for me. I'm the person who deep dives everything. So once I like one album from a group, I'm going in, even if I have like initial reservations, right? Track number 4 is Q. This kind of goes back into the edgy teen crush vibe, very similar to Alive. I feel like it's a nice bookend for the album where you start with something edgy, start with something harder, and then you have this be like the second to the last song. Plays out kind of like a live show, right? Because you want to build the momentum, you want to have a peak, then you want to do like your finale right after. Yeah, big shout out to Nayoung and Joohyun. Specifically them, their vocals are definitely showcased in this song. And I feel like they are the main vocalist of the group. So yeah, again, Lightsum has got me to specifically like members now. So I am just surprised how much I enjoy this group just going into their music. And then like you said, track number 5, Bye Bye Love, electropop. I love it. I love future bass. I love all the fun like festival type sounding music. What is your experience with future bass and electropop and festival type music?
It is my experience with it was I had like this whole techno phase in my life, and I was super into it, and anything about that kind of hooks me onto it. It's definitely one of my weaknesses as well, and just that, because whenever I'm listening to music, I don't really think about putting it into a genre. I'm a very simple person, so I'm just like whether I like it or not, and how it like listens. And actually, like I said before, if it gets me to crank the volume up, and if it gives me the mood of me putting into repeat, it's a great song. I feel like it gets me hype and everything. Yeah, I'm really based off like energy and emotions, and it's great. Even the slower songs.
Yeah, and I feel like this album, Into the Light, has a great blend of a lot of those things we're talking about with the energy level. Like it definitely keeps an energy level consistent throughout the album, but it does so in a variety of ways. And I think for me, that's why it's just like, where have they been? This is great. I love this. Yeah, and in a subtle way, this kind of feels like a great summer album. Not the typical like summer queen like tropical house album.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like the teen crush version of this, right? Where it's like it's kind of good. It kind of works for summertime. It's bright enough where it works for festivals, but it still has that edge where you can still listen to it past summertime easily.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you saying that it's summer, it's like has a summer hot take. But I think like because for summer when I got into like Twice released Alcohol Free and BTS released Permission to Dance. And now that you say that, I'm making comparisons now, and I feel like it's up there. This entire album up there with the summer tracks that Twice and BTS dropped. And now that you say that, I would love to listen to all those songs in the same playlist.
We got somewhere incredibly unique and special. Yeah, no, again, not a traditional like summer album, but a lot of summer bright elements mixed in with like the trap and the teen crush concept, which it's kind of a unique blend of genres, blend of sounds that to me tells me summertime. I feel summertime, right? I just feel it. So it's just so good. Man, you did good. We did good. All right, let's get into some closing thoughts. So like we said, summertime. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be June. What are your hopes for summer? Whether that's in K-pop or in life, and will you get some time I forget the phrasing exactly, but like not working, not in service, will you get some time to kind of enjoy kind of life in summertime?
So service members usually get 4 weeks out of the year, which is 2 weeks in summer and 2 weeks in the winter. And I don't know if I'll be doing anything specific. I don't have any plans right now, but I do have family, so they'll probably figure something out for me. But other than that, for K-pop wise, I want all these smaller groups to drop their summer tracks. I really do. Because last year it wasn't just alcohol free and permission to dance. It was also Dreamcatcher's Summer Holiday, and that was really good. And I would like to see a Stacy Summer album, Lightsum, Cherry Bullet. I'd like to see all Espa. I want Espa to come back. Might as well with the summer track.
They just dropped it. The news
Oh, they
today.
did.
The comeback is happening in June, end of June.
Oh, look at that!
You
Look at-
manifested this. This was you. This was you.
I'd like to
100%.
think I manifested it.
100%. The Aspa heard you, and they were like, "We have to get this for Paco." 100%.
Perfect. I'm happy because I really just thought of it. But yeah, that's really my future for not just so they can like not just for them to drop their tracks, but also to show their potential or what they have for every season, or what they can show, and they can prove to their fans that they can drop a summer ammo, they can drop a Christmas album, they can do anything. That's what makes the group, your favorite group, their favorite group. And I want everyone's favorite group to drop their best stuff for summer.
That's just a warm summer message. I love that. The hope is for your favorite group to have a summer album that is fire, and hopefully we get it. Because last year I felt like it had an incredible summer run of music where it had Oh My Girl, Promise 9. There's another group I cannot remember that had a very similar song. I think it was Rocket Punch. They had a song, a retro song around that time as well. And it was just a retro redux for that summer, which I love. So I'm totally fine with that. But if we get a different trend in summer music with Lightsum kind of starting it, I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
For me, ITZY, please.
Yes.
Where are you at? Come on. Like, I get NMIX is like the thing right now for JYP. I mean, but they are touring. You know, they're doing KCON. Well, it's still in Korea. It's just hanging out. Can we get something, please? Hopefully we get it timed in a way where it's like you have Aespa for 3 weeks and then you have ITZY for 3. That would be incredible.
That would be great. That would be incredible.
Those are my hopes. Yeah, man. That does it for me. Any words of wisdom you'd like to leave the SojuTalk community? I feel like we've gotten to know so much about you, and yet there's probably layers and layers to you that I would love to learn about. So we're gonna have you on again eventually. But what's something you want to leave the community, leave the SojuTalk Nation?
Well, I'm happy to hear that you'd love to have me on again. That makes me really happy. But words of wisdom. Don't think you're weird for liking K-pop. I was like the only military guy out here liking K-pop. And it's just a matter of time. Show them the right song, and then you got someone else to dig to, and then you have more people who are into it. So be proud of liking K-pop. You might as well. I mean, what else is going to happen?
Beautifully said. Well said. Yeah, thank you for your service.
No.
Honestly, it's
thank you for the support. I mean,
of course, man. And thank you for coming on to the show again. Amazing. Going to ask you to come back on because we've got a lot of K-pop to talk about. But yeah, this is amazing. So thank you again.
Oh, no problem. I'd love to come back on. This is great.
All right, man. All right, let's sign out. Thank you everyone for listening to the Soju Sessions on the SojuTalk Nation podcast feed. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk K-pop podcast Discord. or Flaco. I'm Crispy, and this has been the Soju Sessions.